The 72-hour credit purge, identity theft strategy for negative account removal. 1. The claim, permanent deletion in 3 days. Can negative closed accounts really vanish from credit reports within 72 hours? The short answer, possibly, under very specific conditions involving documented identity theft. The so-called hack rests not on trickery, but on procedural leverage built into federal law. So what does that actually mean? It means that once an individual properly files verified identity theft reports with law enforcement and federal agencies, credit bureaus are required to block or remove affected data promptly. The trick isn't magic, it's paperwork, executed correctly. Footnote. This section frames the method as a lawful procedural mechanism, not a loophole or secret exploit. 2. Step 1. The local report. It begins with a police report. A consumer files at their local police department, stating that identity theft occurred due to a data breach or unauthorized account activity. No specific suspect is needed. The report creates a legal foundation proving a claim of fraud or compromised data. So what does that actually mean? You're documenting harm through an official channel, converting suspicion into evidence. Without this report, your case is just a story. Footnote. This section highlights the importance of obtaining a verifiable police report to establish identity theft under federal and state law. 3. Step 2. The federal notification. Next, a complaint is filed with the Federal Trade Commission via identitytheft.gov. This step alerts federal databases that a consumer's identity has been compromised. It also produces a standardized FTC report, critical supporting evidence for disputes with the credit bureaus. So what does that actually mean? You're putting the federal government on record that you've been a victim. And once you do that, credit bureaus lose the luxury of ignoring you. Footnote. This section explains how the FTC Identity Theft Report compels bureaus to treat disputes with greater urgency. 4. Step 3. The third complaint. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB, is next. While its staffing fluctuates with administrations, the act of filing a complaint creates a third layer of documentation, proof that the consumer followed every available procedure. So what does that actually mean? It's not about expecting the CFPB to act fast, it's about showing the bureaus you have allies in higher places. Footnote. This section demonstrates how CFPB filings reinforce the legitimacy of the identity theft claim when disputing negative items. 5. Step 4. The evidence packet. Once all reports are secured, the consumer compiles a dispute package addressed individually to Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. The packet includes copies of the police, FTC, and CFPB reports, a government-issued ID, 2 proofs of current address, utility or bank statements, with account numbers redacted, a signed dispute letter listing affected accounts. This letter should clearly identify each negative account allegedly resulting from identity theft. When mailed via trackable priority service, the bureaus are under time constraints, often responding within 3 to 5 business days. So what does that actually mean? It's bureaucracy warfare. You're using their own compliance rules as your timeline. Footnote. This section outlines the formal documentation required to trigger rapid deletion timelines under FCRA Section 605B. 6. Step 5. Focus on closed accounts. Open accounts should not be disputed under identity theft unless the consumer is ready to lose them. When a credit bureau receives a fraud claim, it immediately requests creditors to close disputed lines. Therefore, this process is only for closed negative accounts, charge-offs, collections, and old delinquencies. So what does that actually mean? Choose your targets wisely. Don't torch a bridge you're still standing on. Footnote. This section warns that disputing active credit lines as fraudulent will trigger involuntary account closures. 7. Step 6. Freezing the data flow. Before sending disputes, freeze credit reports at all three bureaus. Freezing restricts unauthorized access and prevents further account creation during the dispute window. Consumers should also freeze or opt out of secondary bureaus such as LexisNexis, SageStream, and Innovis. So what does that actually mean? You're locking the doors before calling the police. It makes your dispute look legitimate and prevents future data mining. Footnote. This section underscores how freezing credit files signals due diligence and limits unauthorized data sharing. 8. Step 7. The waiting game. Once the packets are delivered, the bureaus must act swiftly. Under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, FCRA, verified identity theft disputes require deletion or blocking within approximately 72 hours to 5 business days. The result? Rapid deletion of closed negative accounts, sometimes even hard inquiries. So what does that actually mean? You flip the switch, from ignored consumer to federal compliance obligation. Footnote. This section explains statutory deletion timelines under the FCRA when valid identity theft evidence is presented. 9. Step 8. The legal fine print. Deleted doesn't mean immune. Creditors can still sue to collect legitimate debts, regardless of reporting status. The absence of a trade line doesn't erase liability, it simply removes visibility. Consumers should be prepared to respond to any summons with proper legal motions, such as challenges to standing or improper service. So what does that actually mean? Credit repair and debt defense are cousins, not twins. Deletion is cosmetic, legal defense is structural. Footnote. This section clarifies that credit report deletion does not nullify underlying debt obligations or civil remedies. 10. Step 9. Ongoing defense. Keep all credit reports frozen, maintain monitoring services such as LifeLock, and periodically request consumer disclosures from LexisNexis or Innovis. Knowledge equals defense. A clean report is only as good as the locks you install to keep it that way. So what does that actually mean? Protect your data like it's gold, because to the system, it is. Footnote. This section concludes that long-term protection depends on continuous monitoring and report control, not one-time disputes.